So, guys, the Secretary General of the MK Party, Floyd Shivambu, is under fire right now. Many people on social media are throwing their tantrums. They are not happy at all with Floyd Shivambu after he was seen attending a church service of this guy in Malawi. So, for the people who don't know who this guy is Bushiri, the so-called Prophet Bushiri, the so-called Shepherd Bushiri. And this guy operated a massive ministry in this country. He still operates a huge ministry in Malawi. And one thing about Bushiri that you cannot take away from him is that he has a huge cult following. I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like Bushiri does not have a huge following. This guy has a huge following. Still, South Africans are pissed off with Floyd Shivambu. Why? This guy is a fugitive. This guy, the South African courts are still looking for him. South African courts are still looking for him because there are a lot of allegations that this guy actually needs to answer for. Him and his wife, they decided to run away after they were granted bail. So instead of staying put in the country and actually proving that these allegations that were made against them were false, they decided to flee the country, which actually made people question that, Bushiri, if you and your wife believe so much that you are innocent, why did you decide to run away? Why did you decide to run away instead of staying put in the country and actually proving not only to yourself but to your followers that these allegations that have been made against me are false? But Bushiri and his wife have actually maintained that they believe that they were not going to get a fair trial in this country. This is what these people said. They believe that they were not going to get a fair trial in this country. And we know that this is nonsensical because, again, this guy has a lot of money. And we know that in this country, if you have a lot of money, you can actually get the lawyers that are going to ensure that you have a fair trial. So this notion that we were not going to get a fair trial in South Africa is nonsensical. So instead of staying put in the country and actually answering for these allegations that have been made against them, they decided to flee to go to Malawi. And this is the reason why the people are so pissed off with Floyd Shivambu, because they are looking at this situation to say that, Floyd Shivambu, you know very well that this scammer has been accused of many things, from financial crimes to rape. You know very well of the accusations and allegations that actually were made against Bushiri, but still you go to Malawi to kiss his feet. And you doing that, it is actually a spit in the face of the legal system in this country. It is a spit in the face of the legal system in the country. And this is the reason why Floyd Shivambu is getting a huge backlash. He's getting a huge backlash for that. So before we get any further, let's try to see who exactly are we dealing with here. Let's see who exactly are we dealing with here. So I made just a smaller nyana research, man. You know how I am. So we're going to start from the top. It says that Bushiri, a Malawian self-proclaimed prophet and a leader of the ECG church, has been embroiled in numerous legal controversies, primarily in South Africa, where he operated a significant portion of his ministry, known to his followers as Major One or Papa, because this is what the people are calling him. I mean, like, it is so insane. Even the people that are way older than him are calling him Papa. The young ones are calling him Major One. You remember that lady from the EFF, Naledi Chirwa, who once praised Bushiri for actually getting that position in the parliament, and Julius Malema coming out and saying that, no, this is not Bushiri, man. This is me actually saying that you must go to parliament. No, stop thanking Bushiri for what I did. They call him Papa. So Bushiri built a large following through his charismatic preaching, claims of miracle, and promise of prosperity. However, he faces serious allegations of criminal activity ranging from financial crimes to rape. So let's look at number one. And this is why the South African courts are actually looking for this guy. And this is a person that is mingling with the Secretary General of the MK Party. And again, this is the reason why people are saying that Floyd Shivambu has basically spit in the face of the legal system in this country. So let's look at number one. Number one, it says that fraud and money laundering charges, 2015 to 2020. And it talks about the initial arrest that happened in 2019. So the article says that Bushiri and his wife Mary were arrested by South Africa's Directorate for Priority Crime Investigations, the Hawks, at the hotel in Rustenburg on charges of fraud, money laundering, and contravening the Prevention of Organized Crime Act, POCA. The allegations centered on illicit financial activities dating back to 2015, involving foreign currency transactions worth approximately $1 million at the time. The Hawks claimed the couple violated the exchange control regulations, including paying 19 million rands for a private jet. So don't you think that it's quite ironic that the Hawks are talking about people violating the exchange control regulations when you have Ramaphosa hiding the dollars in his mattresses? It's quite hypocritical. So number two, so you remember that number one, it talks about the initial arrest. So right now it talks about, number two, it talks about the bail and the court appearances. So the Bushiris were granted 100,000 rands bail each by the Pretoria Specialized Commercial Crimes Court in February 2019. Their case was postponed multiple times due to security concerns, the COVID-19 pandemic, and defense request for further representation to the National Prosecuting Authority. By November 2019, the case was transferred to the Pretoria High Court for the criminal prosecution, with a trial date set for July 2020. So now we're going to look at their second arrest. We're going to look at their second arrest that basically took place in October 2020. The Hawks arrested the couple again, this time for fraud and money laundering involving 102 million rands, alleged linked to an investment scheme called Rising Estate. They appeared in the court and the case was postponed to October 30th, 2020 for a formal bail hearing. Flight to Malawi. Flight to Malawi. This is one of the things that actually made a lot of people be very pissed off. So it says that after being granted 200,000 rands bail each, with conditions to surrender passports and to report to police regularly, the Bushiris fled South Africa to Malawi, violating their bail conditions. Bushiri claimed he fled due to safety concerns and alleged extortion by the Hawks officers, naming individuals like Lieutenant Colonel Pumla and Colonel Korimaritz. He demanded their recusal and guarantees of safety before returning. The South African government initiated the extradition proceedings under the South African Development Community Protocol. So I know that these allegations about money are nothing to Floyd Shivambu. They are absolutely nothing about Floyd Shivambu. But this guy, again, he also has allegations of rape. There are a lot of things that this guy actually needs to answer for in South African courts. But now he's in Malawi living his best life and nobody is saying nothing. And I don't think that even the people in Malawi, the officials in Malawi can actually touch him because he has a lot of money. He's bribing them just like how he was bribing them in South Africa. So on rape allegations, it says Bushiri faces rape charges, though specifics remain limited in public records. The Hawks have been investigating allegations since 2018, including claims that Bushiri's legal team intimidated women who accused him, leading to the withdrawal of statements. These investigations resulted in the arrest of his lawyers Terence Baloyi and Alvin Khoza in 2021 for corruption, intimidation, and defeating the hands of justice, though their case was not enrolled. The other financial and legal violations. The Bushiris are accused of contravening the Financial Advisory and Intermediary Services Act, Banking Act, Civil Act, and Immigration Act. These charges relate to their business operations, including the alleged transport of 15 million rands to Malawi via a private jet, which Bushiri denied. So Bushiri says that, no, I did not transport 15 million rands with my private jet, man. I did not do that. So investors in schemes linked to Bushiri's church, such as Rising Estate. You remember this Rising Estate of Bushiri? This was his pyramid scheme. Investors in schemes linked to Bushiri's church, such as Rising Estate, reported a significant financial losses, with some labeling him as a thief and a crook. For example, Felicia and Atasibeko claimed Bushiri conned them out of their life savings. This is the reason why we say that this guy actually has a cult following, because why would people that are married actually take their life savings and put it into this pyramid scheme of into this pyramid scheme? This guy actually has serious cult following, because it doesn't make sense why Felicia and Atasibeko would take their life savings and actually put it into Rising Estate. I mean, would I be unfair to say that they got exactly what they deserved? Because it doesn't make any sense. Absolutely no sense. So the ECG Church faced scrutiny for defeating the hands of justice after a 2018 stampede at its Pretoria venue linked that killed 3 women. The church removed 3 bodies without notifying the authorities. So there was a stampede where they actually held a church in Pretoria in 2019, and 3 women died, and the church removed the bodies without notifying authorities, and the venue was found non-compliant with the safety and regulation by the Tshwane municipality. This is the type of a guy that we are dealing with. We are dealing with serious stuff here. We are not dealing with small stuff. We are dealing with serious stuff. So let's look at the extradition that was ordered in March 2025. So in March 2025, a Malawian court ordered the extradition of Shepherd Bushiri and Mary Bushiri to South Africa to face the charges of rape, financial crimes, and bail violations. The decision was hailed by the South African officials as a testament to the judicial independence and international cooperation. The decision was hailed by the South African officials as a testament to the judicial and international cooperation. But guess what? Bushiri is still in Malawi. The case has drawn significant attention, with public discourse highlighting issues of corruption, accountability, and the influence of charismatic religious leaders. So these are some of the crimes that Bushiri has been accused of committing in this country. So you can see by yourself that there's a lot that Bushiri actually needs to answer for in this country. There's a lot, like he needs to say that, he needs to prove that, okay guys, I did not do all of these things that these people are accusing me of doing. So in his church service, Floyd Shivambu was actually treated like a dignitary, because he was sitting there, you know, where important people sit. And Bushiri basically acknowledged Floyd Shivambu and thanked him basically for actually coming.
And a wonderful man I know who loves Africa and support African affairs, religion, and more especially, he loves God. And he is also a businessman, a politician, a family man. And tonight he is with us. I'd like to recognize your presence. This is a wonderful man, Floyd Shivambu, all the way from South Africa. Allow me just to ask you to wave the church.
So you can see by yourself how many people are still attending these churches of Bushiri. Like, many people are still attending these churches. A lot of people that are still attending these churches. So it is clear as day. It is clear as day that the authorities can say whatever that they want to say. The people on the ground, they can say whatever that they want to say. But just like I said, that these people have a huge cult following. Their supporters are not going to listen to that. Their supporters are not going to listen to that. You can say whatever that you want to say about Bushiri. Their people are not going to listen to that. So when I was listening to the people trying to make sense of this visit of Floyd Shivambu to Malawi, some of the laziest arguments that people made is that Floyd Shivambu went to Malawi to spy to Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, because Mbuyiseni Ndlozi was in Malawi, I think, a couple of weeks ago. And when he was there, he actually spoke about Bushiri and the fact that Bushiri needs to come back to South Africa to account for all of these things that he has been accused of. Let's listen to Mbuyiseni Ndlozi.
There is someone here in Malawi who is wanted in South Africa. I'm going to ask the minister to help me go past that house of that person and just tell him, there are questions for you there in South Africa that you must come answer. Whether you are a pastor or a politician, you don't have the right to steal from the poor. Not in the name of God, not in the name of our people.
So this is what Mbusenengozi basically said about Bushiri, that he needs to account, because he says that it doesn't matter whether you are a shepherd, you are a politician, you are what. You don't have the right to steal from the poor people. And I've heard people actually try to make arguments that Floyd Shivambu did what he did to spite Mbusenengozi. Why are these people saying that? It's because you remember after Mbusenengozi resigned from the EFF, people said that Mbusenengozi was going to follow Floyd Shivambu to the MK party. So some of them, they are already assuming that Floyd Shivambu is hurt by the fact that Mbusenengozi has decided to be a radio presenter instead of going to join the MK party. And this is why I'm saying that this argument, I find it quite lazy, because Mbusenengozi did say, even before the elections, when he was still inside the EFF, Mbusenengozi made it very clear that he does not believe in Jacob Zuma, the ideology of Jacob Zuma, and Jacob Zuma is old. There is no way that Jacob Zuma can take the country forward. He is old, and he should not be here to make the decisions about the future of this country when he's this old. This is the argument that Mbusenengozi has actually made, and it was not the first and the last time. So it is clear as day that Mbusenengozi does not like Jacob Zuma. So it was clear that he was not going to go to the MK party. It was clear that he was never going to go to the MK party. So some people think that Floyd Shivambu is not happy about the fact that Mbusenengozi basically refuses to go to join the MK party, and Mbusenengozi going to Malawi actually pushed Floyd Shivambu to go to Malawi to undercut what he said. And this is why I'm saying that this argument, it is so lazy, man. It is so lazy. I cannot believe that so many people tried to make this argument about Floyd Shivambu. You know, guys, one thing I can tell you for sure is that this visit of Floyd Shivambu, it has nothing to do with Mbusenengozi. It has nothing to do with Mbusenengozi. And for people to say that this trip of Floyd Shivambu to go to Malawi to meet Bushiri actually has anything to do with Mbusenengozi, it actually tells you that people are not paying attention to how the MK party moves. And this is the reason why the MK party is so dangerous. This is why the MK party, it is a threat, because you have the people in this country that are not seeing exactly what is happening, and this thing is happening right in front of their faces, but they are refusing to see that. Because can you just imagine Floyd Shivambu getting on a flight to go to Malawi simply to spite Mbusenengozi? Mbusenengozi is not even a powerhouse in our politics today. He's not a powerhouse. He's not a powerhouse. So why would Floyd Shivambu go there just to spite Mbusenengozi? It is a lazy argument, and it actually shows that people are not paying attention to how the MK party moves. And it scares me, because I'm scared of the MK party. It scares me. It scares me. Because if you look at the MK party knows exactly what they are doing. And nobody can actually convince me that Floyd Shivambu went to Malawi to meet Bushiri without the knowledge of the higher structures of the MK party. Nobody can do that. Nobody can come here and say that Floyd Shivambu did this on his own. Of course, there's a statement that was released in the middle of the night by the MK party, basically distancing themselves from what Floyd Shivambu did. But according to me, this is my opinion, this is just a smoke screen. There's no way that Floyd Shivambu can attract so much backlash and hateful comments from the people without the acknowledgement of and the knowledge of the higher structures of the MK party. Why am I saying that? It's because if you have been paying attention to the MK party and the political parties in this country, you would actually realize that some of these leaders of the political parties in this country, they have this thing of going to the churches especially the churches that actually has a significant following. And when they get there, they will donate, they will do anything in an attempt of trying to sway the members of these churches to vote or to side with their political parties. You remember last year, Julius Malema was so hurt when they told him in the ZCC that he cannot speak. Why? It's because the people in ZCC, they knew that Julius Malema was going to go there and to start to thrash the government. And they could not afford that. But Cyril Ramaphosa was allowed to speak. Why? ZCC and government, they are working hand in hand. So there's no way they were going to allow a 9% political party leader to come and to spew hate there in the ZCC. The reason why they allowed Cyril Ramaphosa to speak is because these people have financial interest. And it is okay for them. And it is okay for them to try to convince the members of the ZCC to vote for the ANC. This is how these people move. You remember Floyd Shivambu himself, when he was still in the EFF, he said that I will never take off my shoe to meet anybody else. I will never sit down, barely on the ground, to meet another man. But what did Floyd Shivambu do last year? Floyd Shivambu went with a couple of people from the MK party and they went to Shembe Church. And what about Shembe Church? Shembe Church is one of the churches that actually has a lot of support. It has a lot of support. So, me seeing what is happening here, I think Floyd Shivambu is looking at this thing politically because they know that Bushiri has a lot of supporters in this country. He has a lot of cult supporters in this country. And the fact that Bushiri can be seen with a Secretary General of the MK party, that actually tells them that they need to follow the MK party. This is how the politicians actually operate in this country. That's why these people actually went to Shembe. Why? They know Shembe Church is huge. They know that Shembe Church is huge. It's followed by thousands, if not millions of people following that church. And they know that if a leader of that church can wake up tomorrow and say, guys, we are going to follow and vote for the MK party, this is exactly what the people are going to do. And Floyd Shivambu, I don't think he did this just to spite Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi is not that significant in our politics today. But I think he did this on the benefit of the MK party to say, if we can convince the people of Bushiri to actually vote for the MK party, it is going to help the MK party to grow. This is why he decided that I'm going to be the fall guy. I am going to allow South Africans to crucify me. But I know at the end of the day, this thing is going to benefit the party. That's why I'm saying I cannot believe these people that are actually trying to make an argument that Floyd Shivambu went to Malawi to meet Bushiri without the knowledge of the party. Despite the party releasing a statement, that statement it is just a smokescreen. These people know exactly what they are doing. If you cannot read their game, you will always fall behind. These people know exactly what they are doing. It is not the first time, it is not the last time you will see politicians attending the churches, especially these churches that have a lot of people. It is not the first and the last time. Politicians have been doing that for a very long time. They've been doing that for a very long time. Floyd decided to be a fall guy. He decided to be a fall guy. But politically, I can see exactly what he's doing. I can see exactly what he's doing. So to try to make this about Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, I feel like it is lazy. It is lazy and it is lazy thinking. And it is to refuse to see how the MK party operates. You see, Floyd Shivambu and other members of the MK party, they will attend these churches that are big in this country. This is what they will do. But look at what the leader of the party is doing, Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma is there, going to the royal houses and meeting with the kings and meeting with the queens. Why? It's because he knows that these people have an authority. He knows that these people are followed and they are loved by a lot of people. And if these people wake up and tell their subjects that, guys, you must vote for the MK party, this is exactly what these people are going to do. So if you say they are doing this for the benefit, if you are saying this, they are doing this to spite Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, you are failing to see how the MK party moves. The MK party moves by tradition, to the traditional to these royal houses, Jacob Zuma making the royal houses and meeting the kings and queens and I don't know, somehow convincing these kings and queens to tell their people to vote for them. Do you know why Julius Malema actually bought a car for that king of in the Eastern Cape? I forgot the name. I think it was Dalindyebo, the king there in the Eastern Cape. Why did the EFF actually buy a car worth millions for that guy? Why? It's because they know that these people, if they go to their people and say, guys, this is a party that we are following, this is a movement that we are following, this is exactly what these people are going to do. This is what they are going to do. That's why I feel like it is just a lazy thinking to try to take this trip and make it about Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. Lazy thinking. So let's look at this smoke screen of a letter from the MK party trying to distance themselves from the Secretary General of the party, despite them knowing exactly what he was doing. Guys, I cannot see properly, man. It says that the Umkhonto weSizwe party wishes to distance themselves from the recent visit by the Secretary General to the ECG Church in Malawi. The party wishes to make it very clear that this visit was not sanctioned, endorsed, or initiated by the leadership or any official structures of the MK party. The Secretary General undertook this visit in his personal capacity and without the mandate and knowledge of the MK party. I mean, like, it is insane. Just imagine to say that Floyd Shivambu did this in his personal capacity. This guy is the Secretary General of the MK party. Whether he likes it or not, whether he puts on a t-shirt of the MK party or he decides to wear a suit, people look at him and say that this is the Secretary General of the MK party. The MK party upholds the rule of law and maintains a zero tolerance stance on the criminality in all of its forms. When in an unprecedented case, President Jacob Zuma was sent to prison without trial under Roman Dutch law. Who wrote this letter, man? Let me see. Who wrote this letter? Oh, it was wrote by that guy in Tlhabulindlela. I'm not surprised. He says that President Jacob Zuma was sent to prison without trial under Roman Dutch law. He did not flee from the justice but was incarcerated and served his time, even though it was a miscarriage of justice and a violation of his human rights. We remain firmly opposed to any association with individuals who are fugitives from the justice. Our values are rooted in integrity, justice, and accountability, and we reject any actions that compromise the reputation and the ethical standing of our movement. Furthermore, the MK party strongly condemns all forms of gender-based violence and the exploitation of the vulnerable communities, especially innocent Christian believers, by individuals who manipulate faith for their personal enrichment to evade justice. Our party stands with the victims of such exploitation and will never align itself with those who use religion as a shield to defraud, abuse, or mislead the public. We reiterate our commitment to ethical leadership and the principle of justice. We call all members and representatives of the MK party to act in a manner that reflects the highest stance of responsibility and accountability. So this is what the MK party says. The MK party says that we distance ourselves from Floyd Shivambu. We are distancing ourselves from Floyd Shivambu. But me, I don't think this letter is real. I think it is just a smokescreen. Floyd Shivambu did this for the MK party. This is what political parties do all the time. I don't know, guys. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. And I would be fine with that. Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.